Emma sat by the window, watching the rain slide down the glass. The evening sky was gray, and the sound of raindrops filled the quiet room. It had been almost a year since she and Daniel had ended their relationship. At first, she believed she had moved on. She focused on her work, spent more time with friends, and tried not to think about him. Little by little, the pain became easier to carry, or so she thought. That evening, while scrolling through old photos on her phone, she accidentally found a picture of them standing beside a lake. Daniel was smiling, and she remembered how happy they had been that day. Emma quickly locked her phone. "No," she whispered, "I'm not doing this again." But the memory stayed. She remembered their long walks, their late-night conversations, and the dreams they once shared. A few minutes later, her phone vibrated. A message appeared on the screen. From Daniel. Her heart skipped a beat. She stared at the message without opening it. Why now? Why after all this time? The rain outside seemed louder. For 10 minutes, she simply looked at his name. Finally, she opened the message. "Hi, Emma. I know it's been a long time. I hope you're doing well." That was all. A simple message. Yet it felt heavier than 1,000 words. Emma put the phone down and took a deep breath. She thought she had left the past behind. But now, sitting alone beside the rainy window, she realized something. Some feelings do not disappear. They wait quietly. And when the right moment comes, they return. Emma looked at Daniel's message again. "I thought about it again," she whispered. And for the first time in months, she wondered if letting go had really been the right choice. The next morning, Emma woke up with Daniel's message still on her mind. She had read it at least 20 times before going to sleep. A simple greeting, nothing more, nothing less. Yet somehow, it had reopened a door she thought was permanently closed. After spending an hour debating with herself, she finally replied, "Hi, Daniel. I'm doing well. I hope you are too." She pressed send and immediately regretted it. Why did I answer? What happens now? For the rest of the day, she tried to stay busy. But every time her phone lit up, her heart jumped. That afternoon, another message arrived. "Would you like to meet for coffee, just to talk?" Emma stared at the screen. Her first instinct was to say no. Meeting him could bring back old feelings, old pain, old questions. But another part of her was curious. She wanted to know how he had been. She wanted to know why he had suddenly contacted her. Most of all, she wanted answers. After several minutes, she typed a reply. "Okay, 1 coffee." Daniel responded almost immediately. "Saturday, the cafe near the river?" Emma smiled despite herself. They used to visit that cafe often. "See you there," she replied. Saturday arrived faster than she expected. The cafe looked almost exactly the same. The smell of fresh coffee filled the air, and soft music played in the background. Emma chose a table near the window. Her hands felt cold. Then the door opened. Daniel walked in. For a moment, time seemed to stop. He looked older, more mature, but his smile was the same. The smile she once knew by heart. Daniel approached slowly. "Hi, Emma." "Hi, Daniel." An awkward silence followed. Neither knew what to say first. Finally, Daniel sat down and looked at her. "There's something I've wanted to tell you for a long time." Emma felt her pulse quicken. Whatever happened next, she knew this meeting would change everything. Daniel took a deep breath before speaking. "There's something I should have told you a long time ago." Emma sat quietly waiting. The coffee between them remained untouched. "What is it?" she asked softly. Daniel looked down at his hands. "When we broke up, I told you I needed space. I said I was confused about my future." Emma nodded. She remembered that conversation clearly. It was the day her heart had shattered. "But that wasn't the whole truth," Daniel continued. Emma felt her stomach tighten. "What do you mean?" Daniel sighed. "A few months before we ended things, my father became very sick." Emma's eyes widened. "What?" "I didn't tell many people. My family was struggling financially, and I felt responsible for helping them. I was working extra hours and trying to hold everything together." "Why didn't you tell me?" Emma asked. "Because I was afraid." "Afraid of what?" "That you would see me differently. That you would realize I wasn't strong enough." Emma shook her head. "You should have trusted me." "I know," Daniel replied quietly. "For months I convinced myself that pushing you away was the right thing to do. I thought it would protect you from my problems." Daniel paused. "But after losing you, I realized I had made the biggest mistake of my life." The words hung heavily between them. Emma looked out the window. People walked past the cafe carrying umbrellas. The world outside continued moving. Inside, everything felt frozen. For a year, she had blamed herself. She had wondered what she had done wrong. Now she was hearing a completely different story. "You hurt me, Daniel," she finally said. "I know. You made me believe I wasn't enough." Tears appeared in Daniel's eyes. "You were always enough, Emma. The problem was me." For a moment, neither spoke. Then Daniel looked at her. "I don't expect forgiveness today." He hesitated. "But I wanted you to know the truth." Emma stared at him. And for the first time since their breakup, she wasn't angry. She was simply sad about all the things left unsaid. After leaving the cafe, Emma walked slowly along the river. The sky was clear, but her thoughts were cloudy. Daniel's words echoed in her mind. "The biggest mistake of my life." For months, she had imagined countless reasons why their relationship had ended. She had blamed herself, questioned her worth, and replayed every argument they had ever had. Now she knew the truth. But knowing the truth didn't erase the pain. That night, Emma sat on her balcony with a cup of tea. Her phone buzzed. A message from Daniel. "Thank you for meeting me today. I know I don't deserve your time, but I'm grateful you listened." Emma stared at the message. She didn't know what to say. After several minutes, she replied, "Thank you for telling me the truth." A few moments later, another message appeared. "Can I ask you something?" Emma hesitated before answering. "Okay." Daniel's reply came almost instantly. "Do you ever think about us?" Emma looked up at the stars. A small laugh escaped her lips. Of course she did. She had thought about him on birthdays, on rainy days, on lonely nights. She had thought about him whenever she heard their favorite song, and sometimes for no reason at all. After a long pause, she typed, "Yes, sometimes." 3 dots appeared on the screen. Then Daniel replied, "Me too, more than sometimes." Emma felt her heart race. The old feelings she had worked so hard to bury were beginning to surface. But this time she was careful. Feelings alone were not enough. Trust had once been broken, and trust was not rebuilt overnight. The following weeks passed slowly. They exchanged messages. They talked on the phone. Sometimes they laughed about old memories. Sometimes they discussed difficult truths. Little by little, the awkwardness faded. One evening, Daniel asked to meet again. As Emma read the message, she realized something. The question was no longer whether she still cared about him. The real question was this: could she find the courage to trust him again? And she wasn't sure of the answer. A week later, Emma agreed to meet Daniel again. This time, there was less fear in her heart. They met at a small park overlooking the river where they had once spent countless evenings together. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky with shades of orange and gold. For a while, they simply walked side by side. No pressure, no expectations. Just 2 people sharing the same path again. Finally, Daniel stopped walking. "Emma," he said softly. She turned to face him. "There's something I need to say." Emma waited. Daniel took a deep breath. "When I lost you, I thought time would help me forget." He smiled sadly, but it didn't. Emma remained silent. "I tried moving on," he continued. "I focused on work. I kept myself busy. I told myself it was over." His eyes met hers. "But no matter where I went, part of me kept coming back to you." Emma felt tears forming in her eyes. Daniel stepped closer. "I'm not asking you to erase the past. I'm not asking you to pretend I never hurt you." He paused. "I'm only asking for a chance to prove that I've learned from my mistakes." The evening breeze moved gently through the trees. Emma looked at him carefully. A year ago, she would have said yes without hesitation. Now she understood something important. Love was not only about feelings. It was about trust, honesty, effort, growth. For a long moment, she thought about everything they had been through. The heartbreak, the silence, the truth, the healing. And then she smiled. A small but genuine smile. "I can't promise everything will be perfect." Daniel nodded. "I know. And I can't forget what happened." "I understand." Emma took a step forward. "But I believe people can grow." Hope appeared in Daniel's eyes. "And I believe everyone deserves a second chance, if they're willing to earn it." Daniel smiled, the kind of smile that reached his eyes. As the sun disappeared beyond the horizon, they began walking together once more. Not as the people they used to be, but as 2 people ready to write a new chapter. And this time, neither of them would leave important words unsaid. The end.